Could I just say two things?
Sure.
To piggyback off of what you said? Sorry, I don't mean to.
Oh, you're fine.
So, first of all, a guidance counselor acts as a quasi-therapist, works with people with special needs. They're part of the IEP team.
Yeah, but
during
they don't
IEP
help.
meetings.
They don't help.
They also act as a resource for careers.
Right.
And for furthering education. So it's a mix of all those. So if there is a question in character, it's absolutely alarming for guidance counselors.
Thank you.
As it relates to special education, every sending school district in different regions participates in what they call a intermediate unit, all right?
Right.
And part of my frustration when I served on the board was I felt that there were times where we could have used the intermediate unit for students, which would have saved the district tens of millions of dollars here, and instead the district would rather throw a student into either a residential facility or someplace and wipe their hands clean of the situation, when we have an intermediate unit that has the technology and the know-how that could help enhance the quality of education. And you are right, they mask their lack of capabilities with the fact that Parkland is great, and it's really not. I mean, I'm on record as saying Parkland doesn't treat individuals with special needs correctly.
No.
So that's why I endorse this guy right here, though, because I see his passion and his care with people with special needs, and that is sorely lacking on the board. When I was on the board, Rob Cohen, who's leaving, who's now the president of the board, wanted to tell me personally. And mind you, I have ADHD, OCD, and high functioning autism. I have Asperger's, in case you can tell. They wanted to tell me that I was wrong about what I heard about special needs. But if you go door to door like I did this year and try to get my seat back before I explain what I'm going for now, the number one issue all these people, parents had, was their concern as it relates to the treatment of individuals with special needs. I assure you that.
Wow, so that means you're
Okay, then you have another disability advocate, because I have a brother with cerebral palsy and a brother with autism and schizoaffective disorder. So, so yeah, you have another ally too, and in a way I have a disability too, because I'm dyslexic. So.
I'm done with the questions right now, because Brandon Foose got a few minutes to tell what he's doing, okay? And thank you for your contributions here.
No, thank you guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Just a quick section. Yeah, I got to know, Bob Smith was in a car accident, so that's why he's not here.
All right.
He's not hurt.
Oh, well, let them know we care about him,
Okay,
okay?
I told him I could
He's
talk
in
to him
my
after the
prayer.
meeting.
Hello, everybody. My name is Patrick Foose. I'm a proud Republican. I previously served on the Parkland Schoolboard from 2019 to 2023. Unfortunately, I was voted out, but we lost our one
Conservative
voice,
vote.
one conservative voice. I decided to run for re-election for the Parkland School Board to make sure students had a voice. In fact, I can proudly state today, the Parkland public voted strongly on the Republican side in favor of my message. I was the number one vote getter on the Republican side. However, that's not why I'm here today. Why I'm here today is because when I got my mail-in ballot, because I believe that Republicans need to have a presence with voting early and voting often, I realized no one was running for Upper Macungie Township supervisor. I, along with the guy I endorsed over here, and Beth Whitehall Finch, lost a very secret underground campaign last second, super last second, probably what would you say, like the last 3 weeks? I got 145 write-in votes. I'm the Republican nominee for Upper Mac supervisor. That said, let me quickly explain to you the crux of my frustrations with Upper Macungie and why I decided to run. We see all this green space that we used to have. Now it's going to warehouses, industrial farms, which are a problem unto themselves because you have issues like the water, potential water contamination and whatnot. And you've got all these truck traffic issues. On top of that, the township decided to spend roughly $46 million on a township center that doesn't have the one thing Upper Macungie Township residents wanted, which was a pool. Now, mind you, in running the numbers, okay, mind you, 46 million is the present number for Upper Macungie Township's community center. If you look at the numbers from 2017 when they actually did the study, to do the pool, just a basic pool and maybe a building around it, would have been $16 to $17 million. So we're talking more than double. And my opponent just simply put out there recently that they're looking into adding a pool. After speaking at a recent township event, okay, to honor the firefighters, which I'm proud to go and talk to on Monday, I have unfortunate news for you. This pool that they're looking at adding, it's not looking like they're going to do anything with it for the next 10 to 20 years. So the very kids that it could benefit are going to be grown adults by the time it ever gets completed. That's a disappointment. That's a waste of taxpayer dollars. On top of which, the Board of Supervisors, at the recent meeting, they spoke about a development that I forget which exact roads it was, pardon me, but the long story short is the development where it was going to be, it's already too crammed. SUNY guy who ran 4 years ago said he felt under duress in voting in favor of pushing it down the pipe a little bit longer and giving him a little extra time. I went up there and I said, you feel under duress? You feel under duress? Are you being honest with yourself or the people here? Why not just vote no and embrace the green area? Put something there, smart growth. Why aren't we, as a society, telling these developers, before you even go about developing the land you want to do, at least make sure the roads and the surrounding infrastructure are solid first. Why should we, as tax-paying citizens, have to fund like corporate welfare basically for these developers? It's absolutely asinine, and I'm just beyond frustrated and livid. I'm livid the fact that Upper Macungie is a second-class township with far more residents in it than South Whitehall. It's 50% of the Parkland School District, yet we still have a board of 3 individuals who serve 6-year terms. Why can't we cut that down to 4 years and have 5 voices, 5 unique voices that represent everybody? It makes no sense to me. That's another thing I'm advocating for. First-class township status and a board of commissioners. If there's anything you would like to ask me, I'm all ears. Go ahead.
You go first.
You go first.
Well, not really a question. It's just when you're talking about the green spaces and conserving. What's the first part of the word conservative?
Conserve.
Conserve our green space.
Conserve our green space, yes.
What are your thoughts on, I'm hoping I'm using the right term, I was learning on this on one of the conservative YouTube channels. Am I correct on this private equity where let's say you have a house on a property on the land and you pay off your mortgage, but you get kicked out because, like those oil access. What? Eminent domain. Eminent domain.
Eminent domain.
All right, what are your thoughts on that? Thank you.
So I'll give you an example of one that
Aren't they trying to run through?
they are trying to run.
Okay.
I'm very anti eminent domain. If people are paying their bills and doing what they need to do. That said, there is only one time in my whole elected history where I would have supported eminent domain, and let me explain. When I was sitting on the board of school directors for Parkland, in South Whitehall in particular, in Citronia, right beside the elementary school, they wanted to put a home for, like a halfway house for recovering drug addicts. We do not need needles or anything near there. That building itself was not worth a single penny. In fact, we had somebody come out and they said that the house was worth $1, the rest of it was worth like 600 grand. They wanted to overcharge us, by the way, as taxpayers, because they knew Parkland, the land of Parkland was worth more than to a Joe Schmo across the street. We finally got it through paying for the property, thankfully, but the reality was that would be the only time, in my opinion, I would think eminent domain is justifiable.
Okay, yeah, because my concern with eminent domain is that, like you mentioned with the whole, if people paying their bills, I don't think it's right to demolish an entire property of law-abiding, tax-paying citizens. And let's say most of that neighborhood, they paid off their mortgages, to just get rid of it just because a big corporation purchased that whole land. I'm not sure if that should be allowed.
And could I add something too?
Sure.
One of the meetings I attended, there was an elderly couple, real lovely people. They said we came back from vacation and heard that our house might be foreclosed upon, and through eminent domain. And they said, why are we hearing about it now? To me, as somebody, and you all know this about me, I'm very much about transparency. Why weren't they informed about this sooner? Why weren't they allowed to get counsel and legal representation and be able to? Precisely. So this is why I'm running. I'm running because Upper Macungie is their form of governance, the way they do things. It's a good old boys network, and they treat these meetings, and I'm very much pro women. They treat these as, pardon how I'm going to say this, almost like it's a vacation away from their wife for an hour or two. And I hate to say it, they treat it, some meetings went on for 4 hours. These meetings, it's important for people to be there, but I can tell you, as having sat there through a number of them, by the end of it, I'm like one of the only people left there because they drag it out. They drag it out. On another note, here's something I learned. I'm waiting for the property owner to allow me to make this public, but I will say it this way. There's a very big, there's a business, let's just say, on a key area near a park. I'm not going to say what business it is. You can probably figure it out for yourselves. The township wanted to utilize their property to put a new township like governance building there to be near the main park, and they're not willing to come to the table and negotiate with the property owner as far as a reasonable selling price. The property owner told me he's looking elsewhere now for it, but in the meantime, they're tacking on to this property owner citations for all kind of codes that he's supposedly violating. That's bullying into submission, and that's wrong. That's highly unethical. And I can tell you, it's disheartening for me to see SUNY Guy and the others champion this guy that really has no idea what's going on. I'm running against a guy that came from France. Again, I've got no issue if you come here legally. No issue if you come here legally. But I've heard he hardly speaks the English language. If that's the case, how could we rely on the fact that he knows everything objectively? Well, not only the laws, but how does he know that, how could he be an independent voice, is what I'm trying to get at. How could he be an independent voice if he's trying to establish roots?
He doesn't even know the structure of the American value.
Precisely.
So,
And he's trying to say, I'm the better candidate because I've got 40 or 50 years in the C-suite. Yeah, I work as a legislative assistant, and yeah, I've got a learning disability. Yes, I do have experience. I can tell you, the amount of money I oversaw trumps whatever that guy oversaw in the C-suite, because Parkland's budget's $200 million, and I never once voted to raise property taxes. So, and that's something I'm very proud of, because I believe the issue we see right now, and especially with the housing market, you've got seniors who want to be able to want to downsize, go a little more comfortable, but they can't because they realize the size of their property that they have now, and the one they'd be buying into is gonna be the same, if not more, than they'd have to pay. And so you're having these situations where these families that do need to go into larger homes are locked. It's part of the housing crisis we're seeing right now throughout the Lehigh Valley. You'll hear, you know, the likes of the Lehigh Valley Planning Commission say, we're in this housing crisis. I argue we're more into an affordability crisis for homes.
That's right.
Well,
And
and it's not only that, it's the taxes, because I
Right.
have young adults that are trying to buy a home.
Well, you brought up a good point, thank you. The issue with taxes in Upper Mac, so they haven't really raised taxes for at least 10 years, I believe. The problem though is the school. Upper Mac though as a municipality, if they go through with converting their fire department from a volunteer to a fully paid structure, you're gonna kiss your property rate goodbye. It's never gonna be that way again. They're gonna wanna consolidate, so we've got like 3 fire departments right now. They wanna consolidate into basically 2, but mostly 1, okay? And what they're doing is, and it's being pushed by the township manager and like two of the supervisors to my knowledge, might be 3. And I've got a story about my competitor, which I'll get into that as well, but they're wanting to build this brand new fire station. They got this brand new logo that they don't even own the rights to. We're gonna have to pay the rights to some graphic designer for eternity for use of this logo, which is ridiculous, but they're turning so you know this as well as I do, when a call comes in, you get a radio dispatch, you know, and you have to go right over to the station. They want to convert it to a 12-hour shift. How could you ask anyone who's volunteering? You got to basically live at the station for 12 hours. It makes no sense. It makes none. We will lose the historical value and nature of each one of our fire stations.
Yeah, but
It'll be gone.
the other thing is, they should keep the 3, because your area is getting so overdeveloped.
I agree.
And you need the 3 fire companies.
We do.
That's why you need new
They're
commissioners.
just,
We need new commissioners, we need new
Now, I
blood.
watch a lot of news, and I pay attention to a lot of things along that line. I'm gonna guarantee you, the majority of the Lehigh Valley have no clue in Upper Macungie of what you just said.
It's because they're trying to keep it secretive. So secretive, in fact, that this news was supposed to be confidential. This is where my competitor comes in. The Board of Supervisors invited my competitor into a closed-door meeting with the fire departments to talk about this merger, and they left me out of it.
because they don't want you to know.
They don't want me to know.
And I think it's time you should start spreading it to.
Oh, I
Because let
have.
me tell you,
Start getting flyers out there.
yes, because that is a big.
I put it on social
no-no.
media. I've gone to the extent of
Yeah, but they're
creating,
blocking us on social media.
We have to get flyers out all
and
over the place.
I'll start doing flyers then. The reality of it is, I have a 1-year plan out, and part of my plan for that 1 year, because at this point, you guys know I have governance experience. I don't want it to be he said, she said. I really want to show what I'm going to do. And in that, I have about steps to take to make Upper Mac a first-class township. Again, reduce. Part of it, too, is to work out the financials as it relates to the fire companies, because their argument is, if we make it fully paid, we could save on these emergencies by several seconds. As somebody that's focused on policy, I can tell you, the best way to save taxpayer dollars in this situation is to go back to your volunteer firefighters, see what they think needs to be improved, and do and I hate to say do a study, because studies cost a lot of money, but study how the policies that are currently in effect are going. If something needs to be slightly changed policy-wise to slightly alter what they're doing to get there at a more reasonable time, by all means, I'm open to that, but I think that making it be a fully paid position with benefits, with the sheer number of people that you're gonna require to be firefighters is just asinine. It should be the absolute last choice, if not no choice whatsoever.
It's something I should probably know. Can you just quick tell us what the difference between a second class and a first class community is? 'Cause I've
So
heard it,
it's
but I've
really
never-
about population, and it also has to do with, I believe it also has to do with, police officers, whether or not the township can have their own police. Upper Mac is able to with the second class. The other argument to be had is, well, you could expand a board of supervisors. You could export them, but my argument is, why would you want to export a board of supervisors that's elected to a 6-year term? At this point, you've got the likes of SUNY guy in there, and I forget who the board president's name is. Schleicher, I think is his name is. Who just don't, at the 6-year mark, it's basically like a judgeship. It doesn't matter if you piss people off the first, the second, or the third year. By the 6th year, if you're doing everything okay, you're gonna, chances of re-election are high. I said, and I'll make it abundantly clear here. If I win this election, I plan on doing everything I need to do within the term. I have no plans running for a second term. I really don't, because 6 years to me is asinine. I've served on the Parkland Schoolboard for 4, and I think if I would have had a majority that could have done stuff, you know, we could have done a lot of good. However, I'd argue that in my time on the school board, I did everything I think in my power that I could have done. I was proud to, as the chairman of the Building and Grounds, block a raise in the lunch fees during the horrific pandemic that would have burdened families even more. So those are just small things I've done, but when you look at like what you could do for the municipal government, I think that what I've done and what I'm open to do is transferable. And that's why I think that I'm the right person for this, because I see the issues. I see them clear as day, black and white, and I hate to say this. Not that I hate to say quote Trump, but I feel like Trump was right when he said, you know, if I win, you'll see a lot of winning, you'll get tired of winning. And I feel like if we could just get that board where it needs to be and the mindset Upper Mac needs to be, we could save our farmland. We could add to green space. We could have like smart growth. And smart growth isn't just a keyword for developers. It actually means like making sure the roads are good. The infrastructure first. I want to make sure our infrastructure is solid before they do stuff, because now you've got all these wonky ways people come out on roads, and it just, I mean, the best area I could think of, the worst decision ever made with roads was that little itty bitty stop right at Costco. Because trying to get through that little intersection area, it's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare.
Well, isn't the developer supposed to do the infrastructure before they even start the project?
They're supposed to take it into consideration, and they are supposed to take part in it. The reality, though, is they typically negotiate with the township on what they'll cover, infrastructure-wise. And my thought is, okay, specifically in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, developers wield a lot of power and influence, and so at the heart of it all, we need to hold them more accountable, and that's where I think that I'm at in all of this.
Okay.
Right, absolutely. I'll just say this, and then I'll get going. 2 things. 1, I would be honored if you guys would, if if you would choose to endorse me, I'm looking for all the support I can get, number one. And number two, all you need to do is look at my opponent's social media. He's beyond frightened of me. He's been kind of regurgitating some of the stuff I've been putting out. And so, quite frankly, as a 34-year-old, I'm kind of honored. I should say flattered that my opponent is now bringing some stuff up. I mean, it's kind of hysterical. The stuff I've been bringing out to light about what I feel, it took him an interest group to figure out about the pool, about the noise, which is another issue onto itself, the noise ordinance issues. It's not, they're not enforcing it, and the board was hush-hush about it. It is what it is. We can't have that. We cannot have that. We can't afford to have it. Our property values in Parkland are, and the surrounding area are very high, and you could probably get something as big, if not bigger, in Bucks County for less.
I remember when the Parkland Schoolboard said, oh, we're gonna raise your millage points by 2 points so we don't have to do it the next few years.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yes.
Can you
What
put
they did
out-
after that, after they did the 2% and you got off, they've been raising it 5 millage points
They
every
want
year.
to raise it for a decade. They
Right.
wanna raise it for a
I'm in
decade.
Weisenberg, but I'm on the border
Right.
of Upper Macungie, so I've seen the destruction up by the Glassboro. You hear all this, oh, they're building this, it's gonna keep the taxes down. Can you get someone to do, well, look at all that's been built, but your taxes, you've gotta show it to the people to say, this is how much has been spent and built in your township, but this is how much your taxes keep going up. Why?
So, this is more, I think, a school board related issue, and I'll talk about my experience as a school board director. When you look at the cost for special education, and I'm talking to somebody as somebody with special needs, it goes up like this.
Like 10 times.
It's, and I'm not giving the Nazi salute, please don't take it like that. It's every year it goes up more. As I said before, I don't think we're relying enough on the CLIUs or people that work in there to help our teachers out. That's number one. Number two, I am pro-choice when it comes to, well, I'm pro-choice when it comes to education. I think whatever best interest. My frustration has always been with cyber charter, and even the charters in general. When it comes to the transparency element, as far as where they're spending their money, they don't have to report like these local school districts do. So they could spend millions of dollars on advertisement. If you don't think that the money that's going to them is impacting the ability to afford special education, that's the point that's always overlooked.
The charter school by me, which is, I call it the Circle of Crazies, but it's the Circle of Seasons, they are Northwestern. And the only reason I knew how much they owed is because I know the tax guy, and I also went to them as a tax.
And again, I'm not saying I'm antsy.
No, but I'm giving you a suggestion. They took over $200 and some thousand that they owed Northwestern School District, all because they didn't sign paper for a grant. And Northwestern fought back and made them put it back. So take your surrounding areas of Upper Macungie that are in the Upper Macungie area that they border, and maybe look at how the other people are doing it and get them engaged in it, because Weisenberg, which is Northwestern, fought back against that charter school, and our buses still go there. But he wound up letting it out but I asked the tax guy, well, how is this with the taxes? Because, I went to all the school board meetings and they owed our school district $280-some thousand.
But that's not all. That's not all though.
Right, but I'm just saying, if you start to, people don't know that little inside
Right.
stuff.
Right, but that's the point I'm trying to get at though is, now these charter schools are purchasing property and they're subleasing areas that they're not using. Case in point, the Leadership Academy in Allentown right next to the Iron Pig Stadium. The state itself, through it, are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay, the state itself, through its, oh my gosh, what's the name of that company the state owns that helps people get jobs?
CareerLink?
CareerLink, thank you. CareerLink is running out from them. So they're making money on their property on top of everything else. Again, I'm all for school choice. I want the kid to get the best education possible. But if you look at the cost that's going to that mixed with the cost that's going to special education on top of the amount of money that's going to pay the teachers and the retirement pensions and the administrators and everyone else that works, you're going to see there's a very little sliver left of the budget, and
It's like 75%, right?
it's like, it's more than 75%. And so, when you're looking at all these big, crazy, like, jobs they wanna do at capital projects, like wanting to expand the high school, do the middle school, and on top of which, reconstruct a brand new football stadium, that's coming out of that like 12%. And so that's why it's frustrating to me that they keep, it's like constantly taking out debt. If you're trying to get yourself out of debt, why would you want to go in again and take out another loan? It's stupid.
Right. Especially with the interest rate today.
Especially with the interest rate today.
But I want to thank Brendan here for coming, okay, on the drop of the time notice, okay? He contributed with the school district stuff, and he also contributed with this. There's a lot of issues out there. And I'm gonna call him and talk to him about some of them, because we got a problem with developers in this valley. They're getting tax-free zones when they build these buildings and stuff. That's not going into the coffer of the school districts either.
Prologix is empty.
And the problem is, we have major issues.
Did you hear what they're doing with this Dixie Cup?
No,
Yeah,
this is
but I got like
Upper
30-some
Macungie.
minutes, okay, to finish my agenda, okay?
No,
And,
and it's.
I really want to thank you.
I will say,
As soon as you come up,
I
I'll
will say
tell them.
firsthand, this man is not afraid to poke the bear, so.
Oh, I'm not, and if I
Firsthand, I
don't,
can tell you that.
Yeah, it's empty.
Just don't say we didn't keep it for
and
quite
I'll
a
just,
while.
I'll just,
And he
I'll
did
just
good.
add that I've learned the hard way,
Before I retired.
you know, learn before I speak, and if there's something that I'm unsure about, I will say, I'm unsure, I do have to get back to you guys on
No,
something.
yeah, but I appreciate that.
So, the only reason I was able to comment on education stuff is because that's kind of
You
my
did it.
background. I
And he did,
so.
he did support me when I was when we were fighting as a group. We had, you know, Mike and Laura and me were there at every meeting. He did show up, he did support us, okay? And I know the property was worthless, that's why I told the school district, don't pay over this amount.
Right.
Okay, they're after $2 million. They should be giving it back to the school district, okay? But I know what they paid for it, so I said they should pay more than they paid for that facility.
Well, I do want to, I do want to thank you guys for your time. I also want to thank Dave Bruce for informing me that he was coming to speak, because I'm like, I'd love to come speak to you guys as well, because I feel like Republicans typically favor farmland. We want to
Right, well, we
preserve
do.
the character of our homeland, and
We
if
gotta
we,
save the farmland.
if just so you're aware,
Gotta
if
eat.
the farmland goes, you're never going to get it back.
Right.
No one's going to
Yeah.
want to sell it.
That's the problem. You saw it happen in
And-
Long Island, and it's happening here
And I
now.
saw,
It's like the railroad right of ways.
and just two final things in closing. One, Grange Park used to be rated from somebody I spoke to that's whole family farmed that land.
Mhm.
It's rated one of the best in the country to farm.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's green space, but that's area that could have been farmed to feed the municipality, number one. Number two, as far as, I think one of you two lovely ladies brought it up about, you know, the grants. There was something that came about that I just recently read, I think it was yesterday. If you look at it, the Lehigh Valley is going to be getting a new warehouse coming in. It's gonna create
Great, another warehouse.
50 to 600 jobs. I forget how many precisely. Don't quote me on that number, but it's going to be roasting coffee. It's from a foreign company. I think it's Ireland. It's an Irish company, and they got grants from Pennsylvania taxpayers to help finance
But didn't that come
the
from
building.
Shapiro though doing that?
It came from Shapiro doing it. Now, mind you, Shapiro is in Ireland right now, along with.
Right.
That's not all. Shapiro is in Ireland right now, along with both Republican and Democratic lawmakers, sadly.
Right.
And the Steelers.
So,
Well, maybe they're working on the budget.
Steelers.
Well,
Just hoping.
I want to give him a big hand, okay?